Well, we are into 3 weeks of the first of the year, guys, and the markets are at all-time highs. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. This is the third week of the first. Um, this is the third week of the year. We're at all-time highs. I wanted to start this video off with a thank you guys for our latest subscribers and the individuals that liked this stream, commented, engaged, asked questions. It's good to see when people succeed because they're not afraid or ashamed to ask questions, all that stuff. So thank you guys for joining us, liking the stream, subscribing. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Come join us. We put out content daily to help give you guys the information and ideas on what we see in the markets, to not fight the trend, go with the tide, make life easy. That's what we're here to do. This week was action packed. If you could not find opportunity, I don't know where there was an opportunity. We're coming into a week of earnings where we're going to get into the heart of earnings. There is still a lot of pessimism as far as neglecting these highs, coming up with every single reason you can think of. PE ratios, earnings, times earnings, anything that people can come up with, they're using it, okay? But at the end of the day, it's the third week of January of 2024, and the S&P just put in a brand new high. Depending on how you want to look at things, are you short and out complaining that the markets are high, or you're not going to buy here? We're not here to say whether or not the markets are oversold or undersold. It is a fact that the markets are at all-time highs, whether you want to come up with every excuse in the book why it shouldn't be there. Whether I think it should be there, whether you think it should be there, doesn't matter. Go with the tide. The ocean is pushing you out to the shore, and you're trying to get back in. You're trying to go back out, go surfing, and it's got other plans. It's saying you're done. You're getting pushed to the shore, getting pounded. So, let's go. So, what I want to do with this live stream, I kind of started it. I went off track, guys. It's hard. It's my first time. I still have some SSD cards and stuff on the way, in the middle of cleaning up this channel. So, I thank you guys for bearing with us. We got a lot of snow up around my way, so it's going to be a little bit before these videos get a little bit better. But thank you for your cooperation in the meantime. Got a list here. When I say there was opportunity all over the place, wait till you see what we have. Pessimism is at its highest, okay? When I still feel like the more people are trying to fight this, the higher the market's going to go until they give up. Until they give up, and then guess what? That's when we get that pullback. If you notice here, we did have what? An increase in volume on the way to that new high on the daily chart. Keep that in mind. It's very important. We're going to cover some levels in the SPY. We're going to cover the earnings. We're going to cover the data, and we're going to go up with some trade ideas. Let's talk about what happened last week so we can move into next week. And where is the opportunity? This is the reason for this live stream, is to help you guys find opportunity where it may lay. It's up to you on how to trade that. If you have questions, if you want to engage, if you want to ask about a stock, a ticker, about trading, what are you having problems with, right? What are some of the things that we can help you solve, right? We have all these gaps back here. Will this be the earnings quarter that brings this down? Well, we got semiconductors this past week, starting off with Taiwan Semiconductors, TSM, and TSM had other plans to not fill that gap. If you see, Taiwan Semiconductors did very well. We're going to get into it. So, however you feel out there, do not fight the tide. Don't fight the tide. Whether you think things are overbought, oversold, too expensive, whatever, don't buy. And if you are trading, and in order for you to trade, you buy stocks, sorry, but you gotta buy. Oh, a lot of Fed members forgot that here. So let's start it off. There's a lot to talk about. Fed members came out all week, guys. Fed members are trying to portray the inflation labor market. We need the labor market to soften to get inflation where we want. At the end of the day, they try to talk the markets down, but we know better. We just went to new highs because we know what they got to do. Right now, rates are at 5.5%. We, about 10 months ago, it was about 10 months ago, almost a year now. Here in another month, we are going to get this bank term lending program that comes to an end. All right. The Fed still has rates at 5.5%. How do we think how is that going to bode well with the banks? Well, as you see here, I feel like the Fed's trying to give the banks that look at the inflation on bank term liquidity and credit facility with the bank term lending program, bank term funding program. So we kind of just baseline, right? Now we are 1 month away. So what's happening? I personally, this does not mean that this is true. Look at them flooding the banks and telling them, guys, get ahead of what's about to come in case you need it, because this program's coming to an end. We are not lowering rates. What the market's telling you, we're not giving you guys 5 or 6. We may give you 2. We're not doing anything right now. That's what this chart is telling us. All right, until we start to get the labor market to soften, which we did get clues this week. Google CEO, layoffs, Macy's, cutting heads, cutting stores, layoffs, pulling back, right? Growth, they're getting ahead of growth. You're seeing this pullback in certain times or certain places of the market. So keep all that in mind. Let's see here in the next 2 to 3 months, if we start seeing these initial jobless claims start to tick up. Okay, I feel like we're going to start seeing that, and that's going to help the Fed want to pull rates back to get ahead of any type of volatility in the labor market that they would like to get ahead of, which would then instill the market going higher. Right? At the end of the day, the market is overpriced. At the end of the day, the market is expensive. At the end of the day, I am personally not buying. There are random stocks, random companies that are still at 5-year, 10-year, 20-year basis, still low, right? Because they've just gotten crushed. Simply put, look where the IWM is. Right? Small caps. A lot of small caps are still just cannot catch a bid. They did not go up with the overall market. Now, when we look at the overall markets, and we're going to get into this, what I want you guys, at least what I do and how I was taught, was we need to look at the markets as a whole. Okay? We can pull up the Qs. All right? And when we pull up the Qs, you'll see how the Qs have made an all-time high here. We'll just go to a weekly chart so it looks a little bit better. You can see that the Qs are at an all-time high. Okay, there's the Qs. Let's pull up a name like, we'll go to first, you guys know, everyone knows Apple trying to get there. I don't know what's up with my keyboard and my typing, but I apologize and I thank you for bearing with me. Apple has made an all-time, has made two all-time highs within the past year from the COVID high. All right, Microsoft, all-time highs, right? Meta, trying to get there as well. Just about, it did. Meta made an all-time high. Google still has not. Amazon still has not, but they are making progress to try and get there. Netflix, earnings coming up. So, what I'm getting at is Roblox. Look at Roblox, still down on its you-know-what. Still down on the lows, guys. So, as a market, let's go to UNH. Healthcare. It's up at highs. It's actually pulling back off of earnings. It had earnings, I think, 2 weeks ago. A week ago. Don't quote me. All right? Do not quote me. They had earnings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, last 2 Fridays ago. All right. So, as a market, right? We'll go look at AMD. Yes, an expensive stock. It made an all-time high. Look at that on Friday. I did not watch this name. All right, so it is a good game, Ray, actually. If you guys could hit that like button, subscribe. We're going to 1,000 likes. We're trying to get to 1,000 likes so that we can get some institutional traders on here. And we get to 1,000 likes, you guys won't hear me say like, subscribe. I'm sorry, subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're not trying, we're doing. All right. And we're trying to bring on some institutional traders here. And you would help us with that. So if you would allow us to advance to someone else that would like to be here, that is trying to learn this trade, right? Better themselves. Right now, you guys are on this stream, not sitting on your ass watching football or TV, not doing nothing with your life. You're trying to progress forward. I applaud you for that. I applaud you for that because 90% of the people around this world are not doing that right now. So shout out to you. You're the real MVP, as they would say. We're going to go over all these names, but I wanted to get in. I was just talking about the Fed and this program. Keep this in mind. This is the biggest thing that I'm watching this year. If we go back to these banks, they'll just step in, I would assume. If they don't step in, then that's going to give us our stock market crash that we desperately could use. I think we could use it. I think that they should have already gotten ahead of this thing, but they got doved up. It is their job as well. We need to remember that. Okay? We need to remember that there are two... I'm every time I do a live stream, I just have like brain farts. The labor market, maximum unemployment, and price stability. That's what the Fed's worried about. So to an extent, they cannot put the market. They cannot put the market or put the economy into a recession purposefully. I feel like by law, but Paul Volcker has. They could. I think they should. I think that they need to bring things down so prices can come down, but they understand that there's a lot of people that bought homes, and it could just lead to a disaster, right? But we need something. There needs to be this give and take, all right? Asset prices are skyrocketing, all right? The banks. That's what I'm going to be focused on this year for 2024. China getting smashed, demolished. Its market is at lows right now. I don't know why. I thought I had I don't know why this live stream is going so bad, guys. I do apologize. All right, let's go look at the China ETF or China market Hang Seng. I don't think it's that one that I wanted to look at. Look at the China market, guys. So, is this our Black Swan event? Is this our Black Swan event? We won't know until it comes. And I feel like when we have something that's going to give us a nice pullback, we don't see it coming. This could be a start to something more to come. We'll go over that at a later date. But right now, we're going to cover some of these ideas. That's my main focus here, right? I want to get that little stuff out of the way. Let's get into some stocks. Let's get into some trades. Let's talk about what happened last week. Let's talk about what's happening coming up. And how do we benefit from it? Where can we make our money? Again, I applaud you. Hit the like on this video because you yourself did a great job. And that is a gift from me to you, is giving you a thumb up that you're here, not wasting your breath and time on this earth when you're trying to get better and you're trying to make some money to get where you want to be in life. At least I hope this video will save you money. So last week, as I said, guys, there was so much opportunity. Let's start off with the elephant in the room. Let's start off with the elephant in the room, and that is, quote here, save Spirit Airlines. The DOJ and Portnoy. DOJ plus Portnoy equals broke poors. The DOJ blocks JetBlue merger. So they block the merger because they think that the judge thinks that it will not be beneficial for people that don't have money to fly. Whether we agree or disagree with that, that's why. You're actually starting to see, and this is a subject that I wanted to talk about and do a video on, is you were actually seeing a lot of videos, or not videos, I'm sorry, you were seeing a lot of mergers and acquisitions in the M&A field that were actually not getting blocked. But as of late, you're seeing the DOJ here with the JetBlue Spirit airline merger. Amazon, the Euro Commission intends to block the iRobot buyout. They gapped down about 27%. Also scores, which we'll get into that, but we're noticing more of the DOJ and, you know, the legal politician side of things not letting companies do certain things when they were just getting away with quite a few things here. So that shift has been starting to feel like it's taking place. So we'll cover that. So China, we covered that. Amazon, like I said here, they also, which wasn't talked about, they did score a network deal with Diamond Sports Group, where they're going to now have baseball, basketball, and hockey. PayPal CEO came on CNBC last week. All right, talking about how they're going to prioritize the company they're going to let me just read it right here. Up over 9% this week off the back of CEO Alex Chriss saying that PayPal will prioritize profitable growth. That's yet to be seen. I feel like there is a lot of things that go on with PayPal, and they need to start with the basics. They need to be able to bring people back to the company. People don't feel safe with PayPal. You have a lot of merchant accounts that for no reason get shut down or blocked. That is not going to help the sentiment around PayPal. Shipping things back and forth is one thing, but their true source of income, in my opinion, would be the transactions. So in order to gain more transactions, you need to gain the public's trust again. Okay? It feels like people are done with PayPal because not only do they get their account just blocked, they cannot have access to an individual to get the issue resolved. I've heard stories that go on for 3 months and their business relies on it, and it's 3 months down the road, and nothing is still yet done. You cannot put people in that type of position. If you do, your stock will look like this. Your stock will be at lows while the entire market is going to highs. And this is what I was referring to earlier. As I was taught in the markets, I've been doing this for close to 10 years now, about 10 years. You want to see the leaders lead and the laggards lag. What do I mean by that? I showed you Apple, Microsoft, Meta at highs, Google, Amazon right up at highs. I showed you UNH, which is up at highs. You're starting to see some of these minor companies, these mid-cap companies, also Shopify, right? We can bring up Shopify. I think Shop's there. Shopify, where is it at? It's not up at highs, but it's working. It's lagging the leaders. The leaders are up here. Here's Shopify, just right in the middle, still, trying to get back to highs. But you have names like PayPal, okay? In my opinion, again, they need to get the public's trust back. They need the public's trust back to get any type of something going for that company, or I won't be surprised if it's just rotten, right? It's not going to say that it's going to be dead or not here anymore, because I'm sure it'll be here for a long time, but if you really mean what you say, I think you need to just go back to the basics and gain the public's trust back. So these things are letting you know, when you see the markets like this, you're seeing stages, right? The leaders are leading, the laggards are lagging. Those mid-cap companies, even large-cap companies that are up here just in the middle of the COVID and, I guess 2022 drawdown, 2021 and 2022 drawdown, You're still seeing them up in, they're recovering, right? They're going higher. PayPal, Roblox, they're still at lows. So there is an obvious either valuation fundament. There is a risk there that the markets do not want to be a part of. And I think another one that tried to, have some sort of success, but again, risk comes into play. Boeing was making great progress, and then we all know what happened, right? And then there was more issues. Okay, and there was a video that I didn't even say anything, guys, which I guess maybe it happens all the time. But there was a video I was watching where they were boarding the airplane and they had to, pretty much everyone had to wait an hour or so, hour and a half, because of malfunctions. Now, that's not anything to do with, something catching on fire or just something happening like a door coming off mid-flight or takeoff. So, risk, okay? That was PayPal. Let's get back into it because I want to go over some charts. And if you guys have any stocks or any questions for me, please do yourself and myself the favor by asking those questions. You're only going to help yourself by asking those questions. All right. If you are struggling, and also I want to add this, if you could comment, is it your first time here? And what is one thing you want to progress on when it comes to trading or buying stock? What's one thing that you would like to improve on? And is it your first time here? Here we go with the layoffs. Again, this is all opportunity, right? Macy's was down over 3% after the Wall Street Journal reports a reduction in headcount and a shutter of locations to cut costs and streamline business. First time here. What's up, Shay? It's nice to have you here. Salute to you for being here and, trying to do what you do and get some information and education and just and finding opportunity, right? Where is that opportunity? We're going to go through it. So, and again, guys, I seriously do want to apologize. I don't know what happened, but I just got tongue-tied when the stream started. I had everything ready to go and I got tongue-tied. So anyway, Wayfair, I talked about this. I had a mistake. So if you guys don't know, I trade live right here on this channel, 7:30 to 4 every day. Wayfair, I brought this up as a trade idea, and I was mistaken because I don't know if it was CNBC or where I seen it or heard it. I, for some reason, thought that it was earnings, or I would have been short this name early in the morning. There was a beautiful setup here that we talked about on Friday. So Wayfair gaps up. All right, Wayfair gaps up. Where is it? Okay, right here. So Wayfair was green on the week, closing just under 6% in the green. Wayfair rose 9% after announcing it will cut about 13% of the workforce and try to revamp business. What is it? What are we seeing here? Just the three that I read off. They all have one thing in common. They're going to do whatever it takes to try and bring the business back to a more profitable state. What does that mean? It could mean layoffs. First, let me just say that if you're working in any of these spaces and you want to learn a new skill that nobody can take from you, I mean, just going through these guys, look at this, right? And let's not talk about Save and Spirit. If this merger does not happen, they may go bankrupt and people will lose their job if this also doesn't happen. There was a rumor about restructuring for Save. I wanted to talk about this real quick. It'll take me 2 seconds. There was talks about a restructuring. They came out in the afternoon. I think it was Wednesday. It was Thursday, I think, and they said no, we're not talking about restructuring. Second, Friday afternoon, Spirit went to JetBlue and said, let's try this again. Let's rebuttal that DOJ's decision. So I don't know if JetBlue is going to go through with another shot, but it sounds like Spirit obviously wants them to. Now, why would they do that? Because right now, I think they're valued at like $666 million, right? Market cap. and I think they're going to be bought out for 2 to 3 billion. So that means there's a lot of profit there as well, to be had. But even on top of that, Spirit may not survive. All right, they are the sixth biggest, I think, sixth biggest at least in sense of cheap airfare per se, right? So there's a lot going on there where I don't know if they will be bankrupt, but if you think that here's the other thing that we need to take into consideration is that literally their market cap got cut more than half, guys. What does that mean? That means if they have any trouble in the future, when they need to borrow money, right? Here's what a lot of this also goes into later on down the road when the Fed does not help these banks out. When you have mid-cap companies, I'm not calling Spirit or Save a mid-cap company, but think about this. If you have a business and you have a stock price, right? And your stock price is $100 and everything is okay. And these companies need money, right? Because you're not profitable. You're at a point where you're making money, you're paying off the bills, you're paying payroll, but you're still just in that trap where, it's payroll, it's paying debts, you're making money as a CEO or whatever, right? You're making money as a CEO, but you have equity in the company, but you're getting your check. But as far as the company itself, okay, you have not went cash flow positive, right? So when you start to run out of money, what do you need to do? You're going to either need to dilute the share price, which is a last resort, all right, because shareholders are first in mind, or you go to the bank to try and borrow money. You go to the bank and borrow money. So if, let's just say last week, your company was worth $100 million, according to the share price, and it gets cut in half, now your company is at 500,000, not a million. You're not going to qualify for as much, and second, you're going to be paying a higher rate on that. So there's a lot of things here, and on a 5-year return, 10-year in a 5-year time span and a 10-year time span, how many companies from 2020, 2018, 2015? How many of these smaller companies are starting to run out of cash? That's why it's important to listen to earnings calls. It's important to read the earnings report. All right, it's important to read a balance sheet because a company may be starting to run out of cash, run out of money, and may need to buy money because they want to expand, right? They want to buy a new building. They want to spend capital expenditures. They want to spend money to grow, to make money. If their market cap gets cut in half, interest rates are at highs, they don't qualify for as much, they don't grow, and if they don't start to grow like they expected to 4 years ago, 5 years ago, they could go out of business. Now, I was onto a thought there because now if you are expecting to grow, you're going to borrow money at your anticipated, at a minimal, like you have a growth rate, we'll say 10%. Maybe you borrow it like at a 4% to try to stay safe. You start to not grow, you start to not be able to, you start to get behind, right? Things start to go south, and they can start to go south very quickly. So, with that said, there's a lot of stuff that could come our way, not just with Save, not with Spirit Airlines, but there's a lot that could start to be coming unglued. What does China's situation look like? How does that trickle over to us? How does that trickle across the world? Okay, when their market caps start to get cut, more than in half, their companies start to get in trouble. They may not be able to operate at a functional pace to where we do a lot of manufacturing over there. Those manufacturing start to close down. We can't get iPhone made. We can't get PlayStations and Xboxes and TVs and, clothes. Things start to happen because of stuff like this, right? So, I want you guys to just be aware of like what, when a share price gets cut in half, what that really means. All right. And at the end of the day, when that market cap gets cut in half, that means their potential growth has just been sliced in half as well. God forbid they run low on money and they need to go borrow money. They're paying a higher rate and they're not qualified for as much. And that's when trouble can start. Okay. But save. We'll go through this chart real quick because I know there's a lot. Now, why did I write this? Why did I type this here, guys? I was on Twitter. All you guys have to do, we can go on Twitter right now. All right. We can go look. Let's go type in save or Spirit Airlines. Okay. You're going to see Diamond Hands to the Moon. You're going to see Dave Portnoy, Diamond Hands to the Moon, right? Let's go to the top. Dave. Oh, look. There I am. So you're seeing here, right? Endorsements, kind of, for the most part. They're just finding the next thing to believe in. All right? Sprez, you hold Cardano, and you're what I'm getting at is I'm seeing pictures of Diamond Hands and all this other stuff, guys. People are going to get hurt. And they don't have Dave Portnoy money that they can blow. And he says that he's a gambler, right? He's putting it out there like, guys, I'm gambling, okay? I have the money to lose pretty much, okay? And it's all good, right? This is not about Dave. It's about the idea that all these people, once again, are going to get excited about something that they think, or they're going to just, for the intent, they're going to give all their money, hard-earned money, because they're not going to take profit. They're just going to continue to give it to corporate America. I guarantee you 80 to 90% will not take their profit. Okay? They won't take it, I promise you. Now, I'm trying to find it here, right here. Okay? You're going to see things like this. You all already know. Okay? Like, I'm in, let's do this. Like, guys, come on. I don't care if you trade it. Please take your money. Please take your money. Somebody also said, throw in, so he had $1 million and he made 600,000. He said, take the $1 million out, let the $600 ride. I said, okay. Or I said, ride to where? What's that magical number that you say, I'm done. I'm going to take my profit. All right. What is important is, like, if you guys come and trade with us again, we trade here live Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 4, 7:30 to 4. We have targets that we hit and we take it off, right? And we don't question, right? If it goes to the first target in a manner that where it's probably going to take it out, a big increase in volume, fast movement to that thing, we're going to say, all right, well, maybe that 25%, maybe we dwindle it to like a 15 or 10. But we do want to start putting in profits on the, like, as we start to get to that main target. Now, this is the way I trade. You guys trade how you want. Let's say if I traded save right now, right? My first major target's going to be that pivot low. So if I get long and we open up, let's say we open up with a gap down, and I get long at $6.70 right here, right? We start to hold. It would probably be like right here, 6.15. I get long to 6.15. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking a piece off right here. I'm going to take a piece off right here at that close. Now we're into the gap fill, and then we have a prior gap fill right here at 798. I'm going to just let it go. All right. I'm going to let it go. Right. This is the main target, though. We have one objective. Okay. And we have 2 or 3 very minor levels that we know it'll go up to it and it's going to pull back. Right. So we're going to expect these pullbacks into the direction. Like, where are we going? So I kind of think that there could be some people getting hurt, and it's not Dave's fault. All right. It's not Dave's fault. It's just this ideology of just throwing their money away and not having any respect for money. Anyway, I will be trading save. All right. I think the volume you're about to see is going to be just as much as this, and I'll show you guys what I want to look for. This pivot low right here is going to be a level that I'm going to look for. All right, that pivot low is going to be the level that I'm going to look for starting off. I might need a weekly chart because it goes back so far. All right, so we're not even there. That's crazy. This thing's at an all-time low. It even hit a double bottom all-time low at COVID. So, so 7 o'clock, or not 7 o'clock, $7, ESPN. 704. Let's go to a daily chart. 704. 704. I just want to see something real quick. So that's pretty much the opening price of that pivot hot of Friday. All right, so here's how I would trade this, guys. This is going to be the level that I'm going to look for as a main target if we get insane, like we get buying. And I'm going to show you guys the type of buying that I want to see for me to have the conviction to go long. And I want to show you guys Wayfair as well, a trade we were talking about Friday. And now the importance of getting the information right. Like, I had no idea that they did not have earnings. That was just a report that came out. I don't know why I thought that. I didn't even think to look on my chart. Like, I don't know why. But you'll see here this phone and that little light bulb. That's earnings. I just, for some reason, I thought that I heard CNBC say earnings. Anyway, so what I'm going to see and look for on Save. All right, the very first thing that I want to see, guys, when it comes to Save is this here. Like, I want to start to see a day that at least looks like this. All right, I want to see this green. I want to see that. All right, I want to see the prior day, Friday, and excuse me, if we get it on Monday, you may even get a day bigger than this, where I want to just start to see the volume increase. I want to start to see 4 to 5 million shares in a 5-minute candle. Okay, why do I want to see that? Because that is giving me a probability that we are going higher. All right, there is an absolute takeover in buying that's taking out yesterday, that's taking out Thursday, and that's what I want to see. That's the first thing that I'm going to look for when it comes to Monday. All right, so that's how I'm going to trade Save. Now, this is going to be the target. So let's say if we gap down. Let's look at this. What am I on? A 15-minute chart? I'm going to tell you right now, right here is where I will be a buyer. All right, I mean, honestly, if we get below that, then I'm going to look to get short at 6. Maybe. I'm not just going to rush to get short. Let's see where we open up. Because I think you could get a lot of whoever was short this past week, knowing that the news was coming. I think you might start to see people get ahead of this pre-market, as far as people as in institutions. Institutions may get ahead of this because they're seeing that, hey, you know, the Twitter, the FinTwit crowd, everybody and their mother is going to be talking about Spirit Airlines by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the end of the week. And we need to manage risk because we like our money. So we're going to start to cover. All right. And I think 9% of the share is short. I'm pretty sure 9% is what I read. Do not quote me. I could be wrong. I don't think I have it here. But anyway, that's for another day. Again, the videos are going to be a lot better. I have the SSD cards coming. We've had a bad weather storm. Just waiting for them to get here, and things will be like on point, guys. So I appreciate your guys' patience. And if you guys have tickers or any companies or stocks you guys want to look at, questions, anything, just holla at your boy. Again, I do applaud you guys for being here and not just wasting your life. So that's going to be Spirit Airlines. This is going to be the target for me, all right? This high right here is going to be the first target. All right, that's going to be the first target. Let me see here. What's going on here? Let me pull up a daily chart. Okay, that's why. Because this is your previous pivot from earnings. That's where that comes in from. All right, and now we've broken earnings, and I think you could get enough volume. If we get a gap down on Monday, I would look for that gap down to try and hold this $6 to 575 level. We'll call it 575. Get long if the volume is there. I want to see a light volume, maybe right off the bell, right? Maybe you see this thing pull in off the bell, right? And you get like a quick like 2 to 3 minute like candle. We'll just say that like this is pre-market, and you get just like a candle that like looks like this, where like you get like this, and then it gives you like, you just get this long wick. That's what I want to see. I want to see this thing sell off, and then I want to see it jump off of a level, which would be Thursday's close, area. It could be $4. The lower it goes, the more I like it. Okay, the lower it goes, the more I like it. So if you get down to $4 and you start to wick down there, I want to see it immediately get off of that level, and those buyers start to come in, and you start to see, a volume bar. If I bring it up to you guys, a volume bar that like in a 5-minute candle that looks something like this, right? That'll really get the in the first couple minutes. I want to start to see 3.25, right? 2.9. I want to start to see that big volume, right? Even something like this. All right, it'll all depend. It'll probably be something like this, all right, because you'll have shorts and you'll have longs in there. Okay, you have people taking profit and short. So that's what I want to see. I want to start to see an increase in volume to the upside for the move up. All right, so that's SAVE. All right, that's SAVE. That is Spirit Airlines. Let's go again. We did Amazon, PayPal, Macy's. All right, so Wayfair, Macy's. They're all pulling back and cutting costs, and they're cutting workforce. All right, people are going to start to lose their jobs. All right, we're going to start seeing the initial jobless claims start to tick up. We should in the next few months. I think Google said they're going to do it throughout the year, so it's not just going to be like one, it's not going to be like a month-long thing. But that will also help the Fed cut rates. So, Ford. Ford had news, all right, and I thought about trading Ford. I was at least looking at it for a setup, right? It closed red on the week, just under 1%, but it did close damn near 2% green on Friday. They announced a reduction in production of the F-150 Lightning pickup truck and an increase in production of the Bronco. I guess the Bronco's a top seller. Number one, I've been seeing a lot of them. And number two, I feel like it's probably a good margin tool for them, and a lot of people like them. So why not stick with it? It's a good business decision, and I see why Ford went up off of that news. Ford had a great day Friday. So I will keep Ford in the back of my mind for a trade, because as soon as I read this, like yesterday, I was driving in the snow, and I seen 4 of them. I see them all over the place where I'm at. Right? They're small sedans, not sedans, but they're not like truck. I don't know what you want to call them, but they're not like the old Broncos. They're not as big, but they're nice, right? They're nice. And I see a lot of people in them right now. So they're selling, and I can understand why. So they're going to go with what fits them, with what's they're going to go with what's working, and that's going to help the share price. So let's look at Ford. If I look at Ford, all right, what am I going to look for? This is your previous base here. So this is a key level. You broke back through it. All right, that's $11. So I want to at least look for a shot to the 100-day moving average. All right, this is where I want to. This is going to be a target, which is at $11.50. Now, when a stock is $10, $12, 50-cent move, right? $1. Let's just put it this way: a dollar move on a $10 stock is a 10% move in the stock alone. So when you see 50 cents, 25 cents, don't be scared of it. You're like, oh, that's not $2, $3, $4. Like, a dollar. It's, you get $1 out of Ford. That's 10% in the stock alone. What does that do with options? Okay. So just because it's low, it actually will help you with less volatility too. And I try to help people also remind them, when you're just starting out, your job is not only to preserve capital, but you need to build it. Okay. If you have a few $1,000s in your account and you're just going to be worried about trading Tesla all the time, you're probably going to be making videos about how the market's a scam. All right, because you're not doing what you should be doing. You're doing what you want to do. Okay, I struggle with it sometimes, but I've been doing this for 10 years. Like, I'm past that point. I don't need to like worry that this trade on Tesla is going to wipe out half of my account. Okay, I think shit right now. I think my whole account just on this year in 3 weeks in, I want to say is about, if not over 20%. I'm going to have to look. I'll be looking here next week when the week ends. But by the way, guys, we do trade live if you're just joining us right here. The first week of the month, we had a great week. We demolished it. We had a few 100% trades. The second week, I had a few 100% trades. I ended the week flat last week with a very small loss. But the Boeing and Google, it was like something, I just did something I shouldn't have done. It wasn't that I sized it. I just took the position early, okay, and decided to cut it. But it's all good. Last week, green. Okay, are you seeing this? Like, I'm green, and I'm about flat with a very small loss. And we gave out, I think, two. I gave out, not we. I keep saying we like there's someone else here. I gave out two over 100% gains last week. The week before, I gave out 2 or 3. The SPY and Apple, I was on them with you guys. I just did not make more than I lost because I dwindled my position size to get a win. And I talk about getting a win when you need a win. Like when your main focus is not to make money and you're having a few back-to-back like bad trades, you want to worry about just getting a few green trades on and not worrying about how much you're going to make. Because that's important. You need to get your confidence back. All right, so on Ford, guys, I want to see if we can pull back in to $11 to that 50-day moving average. This red line right here is the 50-day moving average on the daily chart. So I want to look for that to extend a little bit. I want to look for the stop, or I'm sorry, I want to look for us to pull back off of this level here. All right, I want to look for us to pull back up to this 50-day, and then I want to see if we can get long from 11 to 1150. That's 20%. What is that? 50 on a dollar, a $10 stock. A dollar is 10%. So that's about 5%, 8% on the stock itself. So this could be a nice trade, and I think we could get there. And I'm going to be honest, I think I may get a little bit of time on this. Because what's going to happen, I'm going to help you guys read a chart. What do you guys see here? Like if I were to show you this chart, all right, I want you guys to tell me what you see. All right, if you guys want to. I'm going to give you guys I'm just going to give you guys a minute. All right, so you guys see that we have this wedge here. And if you don't know, when I started this stream, guess what? We were long this, or we gave this out. It's guess what? It's fully recorded. And guess what? I even drew you guys a circle of that area. You want to know why? Because we have a move to move here, okay? And what you have here, where was the move? So it was there, bang. Well, we called that move out. I know I had my circle. I might be doing it wrong right now. I may have did it to that one. That's probably what I did, guys. I know that it works because I think here's what I did. I think I went here. I think I used this one. I think. I'm pretty sure I may have used that one. And again, I wasn't exact on the thing. So that's the pullback. Yeah, there's the pullback. There it is. All right, there it is. Because that's the pullback. If I get rid of this. All right, what you guys see here. All right, what you guys will see is the pullback pennant. What I don't know what's going on here. It's messing up. So what this is right here, you see how it breaks out and it pulls back in, catches that downtrend, and it goes higher, right? It's the gap out of it. it pulls back in. The buyers are still there, and on its way it goes. But we called it out. The members know that are in here that visit us, that trade with us. We have probably about 100 people, about 50 people. I mean, it's like 40, 50 people on average. We just started little while ago, so things take time, and that's why I say, we get to 1,000 subscribers. You guys are not going to hear me say like and subscribe again. And the only reason I ask that again is because there's a lot of people that I want to bring on the stream, to bring some institutional traders on here where we can have some good discussions and good lessons. And I think there's a lot of stuff out there you guys could learn from the institutional side of things. Or if you guys are serious about this, 1,000 subscribers would help me get there. But more importantly, besides all that, is it would help someone else find this that would like to be here and learn. All right. So but that's forward. Long story short, look to see if we can get long on this 50-day moving average right around this area at like 11:10, 11:20 area, and we'll look to take that long to 11:50. I think in time you might be able to get a little bit more out of this, though. I think we could get a little bit more out of Ford, and I would ultimately, it would take, it could take a little while, but it may take earnings. So you have earnings on the 6th of February. I'd like to at least get back to this $12 area. All right, that's $12, $12.50. I'd like to get this thing back up here. That's what I was doing. It's hard to do a stream when I'm doing it by myself. When I asked you guys, what do you guys see? All right, so here's what I see. All right, here's what I see. I see this level right here. Okay, I see this level right here. And what else do we have there? The market is all about lining into, like, first, I don't think people teach how and why to use indicators. I don't think that a lot of people talk about that as much as they should. I haven't found a channel that has said, this is what this is how it's used. I haven't seen one yet that correctly tells you anything about a Fibonacci, trade line, your Bollinger Bands. So they tell you what they do. They don't tell you how they're traded, why they're traded. I don't think that there's enough of that. And when I get my SSD cards, I will be getting a lot of that stuff out to you. But there's only like a surface of like things that I can talk about on a daily basis. There's just so much, right? There's so much that I don't talk about. So what I see here is this 100-day moving average coming in right in line with this base here, okay? With this previous low of last year, all right? Which is going to be around 1150. That psychological number, right? Support, comes down, it breaks it. Now it gaps up. You're seeing that gap up at this whole area. Well, right now, you have that 100-day moving average coming right in line. See it coming right in here, right? What's going to happen? The stock is probably going to go meet it and either break it or turn it into resistance. And now, in order for me to see that it's broken, I do want to see a high volume. I want to see more volume. And what else do we have? We also have the trade line. So you have the 100-day, the 9 EMA, and when we bounce, what's that going to do to the 20-day? That's going to pull this 20-day down with it. It's going to curl that trade line up, and they're all going to meet in that area. That's why I think the probability that if we get a pullback to here, I can take the long, and I think that stock will get up to here, probably make it a little resistance, and then possibly break it. And then what else does that mean? That means earnings are coming up. And where are earnings? Earnings are right here, but look at the previous earnings. What else happened right here because of the close at that area? What happened at $11.40 called 11.50? What all happened there? You had a gap down on earnings, and now it's the new quarter. We're coming back to that area with the 100-day, with the 90 MA, getting ready to drag this 20-day moving average down right there with it for when it comes to earnings. Okay, you can kind of leave the 20-day moving average alone out of it. But if this stock gets up there, we're going to bring that 50-day up to it. Everything is pointing to the previous earnings gap down, guys. All the indicators are going to last quarter's gap down. If you guys catch my drift, this is technical analysis. All right, this is using understanding what the stock is going to do in accordance to what your charts are telling you. If this stock starts to bounce, okay, look at this range here, right? See how it's down and up? Chances are that 50-day, if the stock goes up, it'll go up with it, but because you do have this area here too, so 3, 6, 9. So the 50-day will probably go up with it, but I assure you, when the stock goes up, what's going to happen is on the pullbacks, if we are able to get up to that 50-day and you have a day where it pulls back a little bit, that pullback is going to yank that 50-day up quicker to it. It's going to start to price in this level, it'll price in that level, it'll price in this level, and it's going to start lifting a little bit faster each time. So we have multiple indicators telling us that Ford is likely going back to 11.50, and that was the previous gap down of the last earnings. So can they report a better than expected quarter to either go, start to test $13, $14 and go higher? Or are they in the same boat where things are not well and Ford is on its way back down to $9, $10? So this is a really good lesson on technical analysis, on understanding exactly what's going on here. You have a major level here, right here, and what I would say is, I don't want to spend a bunch of time on this, but $11 to like 11.40, okay, like that area, it's an area, and that 11.40 again is where the earnings was. Okay, so again, I want you guys to learn these things because I don't think they're talked about enough. At least I haven't seen it. Or they're gonna try and charge you $2, $4, $5, $10,000 to be able to learn these things. All right, and that's not fair. That's not fair to people who don't have it. And there are ways that you can capitalize off of helping other people. My father always provided a service to people, a good service, a great service, and he got paid for it. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But there is this line of scammy-ish, right? Leaving a lot of details out, not providing tangible items, and creating a business around no tangible items as a business owner, and with no guilt there. What is, we know what the prerogative is, okay? But as a there is no moral in this industry, just so you guys know. All right? But don't worry. There are people here that on this planet that do care about other people's success and will have a business doing this in the appropriate manner, then in the way I think it should be done. And it hasn't been done for years because nobody has stepped up to do it. They have always seen other people do this and they just follow in the shoes. Subscribe here, subscribe there. That's fine. You want to trade with us live? You pay this fee? Okay. But the lessons, the education, where is the tangible item that you paid for that you don't get to take home with you? I don't care if it's, I'll get into that another day, but I want you guys to think about that. Think about the person who decided to make a business knowing they were not going to give you something tangible. In order for you to have it, you had to continue to give them revenue and sit through upsells after upsells after upsells after upsells, and sold, buy down your throat. Think about that. Think about knowing beforehand you're not providing an actual tangible thing for these people to learn. Think about that. And they know it, but they do it anyway. It just tells you a lot about people. All right, it tells you a lot about this industry. All right, that's Ford, guys. So that's a little bit of indicators, and how you get price that is going to a key area. And there's a reason that 1140, 1150 is key, is because of what they reported last quarter. There was something that they reported last quarter that the market did not like, along with the shutdown that they had, if you guys remember. Okay, so that's Ford. I want to look for a long off on pullbacks on Ford. You pulled into, see this area, like 1050. I would like the long, but it has news. It's made its recovery over the 50-day. And we are coming into like a very minor level. It's not, I wouldn't say it's resistance, because look at that volume. It's there's a pivot low that you're just like, in my opinion, you're in the middle of this gap. I don't think there's anything going on with like 1120, 1118 to be like, hey. The only thing I would say is the 50-day moving average, and you got through it, right? You got through it on some decent volume. Now we look for the pullback, and we get long and sit in that trade. Let's see if it takes us about 2-3 days, and look to see if we can't get to that 1150 area. All right, so that's Ford. Good. We got a little education out there as well. Didn't intend on that. That was an important one, guys. I want you guys to really see, when you're examining charts, exactly what's going on and future price movement. Google, and what else? More layoffs. CEO issues more layoffs this year. I talked about that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 companies. I'm pretty sure 4 companies that have talked about layoffs. Disney. All right, Disney. Nelson Peltz. This was also a trade idea for the last. We've been watching Disney for about 3 weeks now. All right, and we're going to go right into the charts and stuff. I want to get this news out of the way. Guys, this was just last week. TSM Semiconductors, we started out. We got an idea with them. We got a look into semiconductors pretty early on in earnings. And you've seen what happened with Taiwan Semiconductors. So I want you guys to see here on Disney. You have this beautiful bull flag. There's a lot going on. I got to clean the chart up. I stopped looking at it for a little bit, and I was intraday trading it. So, there's a lot of lines here, and I got to clean it up. All right. But what happened was you had a failed breakdown. Okay. It did not hold this area here, but it did. This was a shakeout. Okay. It felt like this was a shakeout. Since then, you have recovered this big bull flag on the daily chart. All right. So I have a move to move here. We'll see if this comes into fruition. Okay. If you see here, this bull flag right here. All right. And where does it take us to? I would say that it should take us. Shit. Let's see if this one is it, because why with Ford, what I didn't do, I went from wick to wick, not close to close. Now I can't, it's hard to figure out where I'm going to put this, because of, where, like, is it going to break out and then pull back to the flag? Like that breakout could be over here, right? But I think you're looking at a 102.50, a run up to 102.50 is what this chart, I feel like, if it has upside potential. It has an increase in volume on Friday, which the whole market did, so that helps. That's what I have for Disney, is, kind of this move to move off of the bull flag. See, I don't know if it was there. I don't know where the pullback. If I'm going to say anything, I'm going to say it's right here, and we're going to go to about 102.50. Okay, that prior resistance, or we have this gap fill right here. Look at that, 101.05, 101 is the gap fill. That is the close of the gap from earnings. Okay, there's a reason for everything. Look at that gap fill right there, and that's 101.50. Look, I draw a line. Look, I'm going to draw a line from my. Look, this right here. I'll go right to the top. Bang. Look at that. It goes right to it. Right there. One. So there's the gap fill. It's telling you chances are you have an increase in volume. Look at that volume. I have to see how much of it is selling. Again, this is just a quick look at things. I got to clean the chart up to actually get an idea of what the hell's going on here, because I have so many lines I can't see myself. We are past the 200 day, and that's what it did. It pretty much pulled into that area of the 100-day moving average, and it rallied. And we have been watching this. What I don't like, all right, is this is the resistance level, and you didn't get there. It was at 94. So we'll watch. All right, we'll watch this name, but it has a bull flag, a pretty major bull flag here, and it's been volatile. So what we have here with Disney is we have a proxy going on. If you guys don't know what a proxy is, all right. So Nelson Peltz, all right. Trian, cap. I have to go look at it. What if it's capital? If it's financials? Like the second part to this name. Let me see here if I still have it up. No, I don't think I do. But anyway, there is a proxy with Disney. Let's see if it's on here. No, it's not. That's crazy. Okay, so there's going to be a vote, okay, on whether. So Nelson Peltz's proxy battle is CNBC interview, which you guys may or may not have seen Wednesday. All right, Wednesday or Thursday, he came on and he stated Thursday that listed. Hold on. Yeah, he filed a proxy statement Thursday that listed reasons why shareholders should elect him and Rasulo to the board to try and benefit the performance of Disney. Okay, they feel like there needs to be changes made. All right, I think the vote is in May. All right, so they think that they have ideas and things that can help Disney as a company out. All right, and that results to shareholders. All right, so there'll be a vote for him and his friend on the board. I'm pretty sure it's him and someone else. Pakistan Mr. listed a reason why shareholders should elect him and Rasulo to the board. All right, so they think that they can do a better job than what they're doing now, pretty much. Long story short. All right, long story short. So what I would look for on this is I would like to see it extend, guys, honestly. I would like to see it extend a little bit and then be able to pull back. Like, because if it extends, that's telling me, right, that the direction is picked, but more so, it's going to leave my moving averages, it'll start shaping the chart to a bullish pattern. Okay, because right now you have just all these moving averages just conjunction, like sitting right here at the same area, and that's also intraday, that's also another sign, like that's a buying zone. When all of your indicators meet at one area, that's where you want to buy. Okay, but it's just the 50 days here, the 90 MA is here, and it's just I would like the chart to be a little bit more cleaned up, and maybe it's because I have a mess of charts going on here, but so this is a good sign. So look, it did pull off. The 50-day is up here at this previous pivot high. Okay, it bounced off of there. I want to know what happened at the end of the day on why it pulled back, because this, you guys got to think, like this wick, how much of that volume, okay, how much of that pullback, that sell-off is in that candle, because half of that candle could be selling. All right, that's something we'll have to look at. All right, and we can look at it, right? We can just go to a 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart. All right, so it looks like it's a little bit mixed. All right, looks like it's a little bit mixed on the 5-minute. You can see that they are pulling it back a little bit after hours. Someone came in and sold. It all depends on what time frame you look at, right? So yeah, look at the buyers there on the 15-minute. All right, so they got to that level. It's like, hey, this is a rejection. So what I would look here, right? This is also another level. I'm not going to go through all these right now because I got to save something for the other day, but there's something very important going on right here in this area. There's something very important going on here in this area. And this is actually, I'm writing this down right now as another trade idea. for Monday. So come join us Monday morning as we look to again finish this month off strong. I think it's been 5, 6 just this month over a triple digit 150, 200%. We gave out the Apple 85 call that the day the day of when we called it out, it went 400%. It was like 450%. But we looked at the prior day, they went from like 50 cents all the way up to $5. It was like a 4,500% trade, which we did not catch, obviously. But, you had to have known the news was coming out, kind of, to feel like you were going to get that type of long. But that was crazy. Save. Oh, yeah, I just did save. Shit. I can do it for you real quick. Here's the thing with save, all right? We talked about it already. That was one of the first things we went, but I will go over it. All right. See, we talked about save. It was one of the first ones. What I was saying was I want to see the biggest and only thing that I'm going to look for, all right, is going to be I want to see the volume. All right. This is the level. All right. We start getting to 850, I will take a piece off. I will take a piece of my position off. The biggest thing that is going to tell me now $8 is 850 is doable, but how do we know that we can break that 850 pivot low and start getting up to these areas? All right, start filling this gap, kind of, right? I guess the gaps are. Let's see, we're right here. Yeah, start filling this gap up here, 803. So the range is from 803 to 850. In order for me to say, yo, guys, not only is 850 going to break, but you have a lot of resistance right here at 750. Now remember, $1 on a $10 stock is 10% in the stock itself. So at $7, you see $1, just know I'm taking that probably 200-300% option when the stock just went on $7 and does $1. That's what, probably 23%. So I want to see this. I want to start seeing on a 5-minute chart. We'll say on a 5-minute chart, I want to see 3 to 3.5 million shares traded in a 5-minute chart. I want a pullback, all right? I would love to see this, all right? This is what I would love to see. And I already went over all this, but we'll get into it. This is exactly what I want to see, which is going to tell me, 1, that this level right here is going to hold, but 2, we're going to 850 and we're probably going to, the probability of us breaking it is pretty damn high. I want to start to see this volume Monday, and it could do it Tuesday. It could do it Wednesday. Just join us. We'll go through it. But if you start seeing higher volume consistently, which I think we'll get it. I want to start seeing that volume to the buy side too. I want to see low volume pullbacks, but I want to see a day where there is just humongous volume. And then what I'm going to look for, right? I want to see all this here. I want to know, are we going through 850? Now, going to 850 is one thing, but are we going to break it? If you go back to GME or AMC, guys, the biggest sign is your volume. I'm telling you right now, your volume. I don't think a 4-hour it's going to let me do it, right? But look at a day like this, right? Look at the day like you have here. See, I can't go to a 5-minute because, you know what? We can do it backwards. Look at this sell-off. Look at that sell-off. What did you get? You got an extremely amount of volume that told you this support level, with this 40.36 is a major level, and that it was not only going to break, but it was going to hold on the pullback because of that huge volume. That's the most important thing, guys. Even if you guys you could start trading penny stocks now if they have news like biotechs, stocks that go from $4 to $8 and they do 100%. The thing you guys want to remember, okay? There's a few things. There's 2 that I want you to be aware of. Just two things to be aware of real quick is remember the time frame. All right, you have three trading sessions. You have morning, you have lunch, and you have afternoon. Okay, now why do I say that? Because chances are now this stock probably could do it, and stocks do it, but it is very rare that a stock just goes from morning from 9:30 to 3 or 4 o'clock, from 9:30 to 4, and just goes up the whole day. Just goes up the whole day. A stock that has the amount of outstanding shares like Save and stuff, the amount of capital it's going to take to do something like that probably won't happen. Not saying it can't, but you'll at least go, you'll bounce in the morning and then spend the lunchtime consolidating is what I'm saying. All right, so I'm going to get into it, right? We have morning, okay? We'll say till like 11:30, 12. We'll just use 12, right? And then we have 12 to 2, all right? 12 to 2. And then we have the increase in volume there, okay? So just pay attention to that as far as your volume, all right? There's a reason why I'm going to say this, because if you get a nice huge volume at like 10:45, 11, and you start rallying, and then 12 o'clock comes and you just consolidate, that's going to tell me we should be able to come in with a gap up. But I want to, again, focus on the volume. I want the volume Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever like this words start to spread. I want to see that. This is what I want to see right here. But if you trade it, just know that like 12 o'clock comes and you're in a trade, let it consolidate. Unless you see something like this bar here, like out of nowhere, like you start seeing consistently 5-minute chart volume during lunch, and it's just like, oh shit, something's going on here. Like, take your profit and then just catch the dip, because there's obviously something going on where they're going to say that they are no longer going to be able to be a company. One, because their share price got more than cut in half. So if they need money, see, I went through all this. That sucks, super, that you weren't here. My screen's frozen. No, I'm good, man. I got it playing here. I'm good. I talked about this earlier. Here's what could happen. I think their value right now is around 666 million. All right, the buyout is for $2 billion. That's over double of what this company's worth. The CEOs want this done. This is why Thursday there was rumors from Barron's, or no, there was rumors out that they were trying to, they were going to consolidate the company or restructure the company. Then they came out after hours and said, we're not doing that. We're not restructuring the company because we want JetBlue to buy us. Friday afternoon, after the DOJ and stuff said that they didn't want to allow it because they thought that there would be a price increase, which is just a guess, which is crazy in and of itself. This is more to do so. See, you guys got to understand, like, when you have Joe Biden and Trump and everybody in, like, these presidents hire in their cabinets people for the DOJ. And the people that they're going to put in, and I just talked about the M&A, right? The mergers and acquisitions that were just going on, that you were seeing companies get through. These DOJs were trying to stop companies from merging, and they were getting through. And now, I just told you guys with Spirit, right? They shut that down. What else? Amazon and iRobot, they have already commissioned that they're not going to let Amazon buy iRobot out for whatever reason. Okay, so just let them, let them go out of business and let all those people lose their jobs because you don't want some other company to buy them. How much money do you think that they're going to make off of robotic vacuums? Like, really? Right? So we're just going to let all these people go out of business. It's more than it's material. There's just like a whole line of things. So you're starting to see that. All right. You're starting to see companies not go through with these M&As, the mergers and acquisitions. So, but yeah, as far as Save, I want to look for a low volume pullback. I want to see them start to get a little nervous. Listen, I think you're going to start seeing some buying because they're going to start to know that word spreading on Twitter and all these other places, Dave Portnoy, this, that, the third. They're not going to want to be short. They're not going to want to get caught in anything. I think it's about 10% short, the last I looked. Oh yeah, it's all good, man. The biggest key, I'm telling you, is to look. When you start to see this thing go, if it does, look at the volume. Make sure the volume is bigger than this. Bigger than this. It can be about the same, but if it's about the same, you're just going to continue to do what you're doing. And that's just consolidate from 5 to 7, and you'll just play around. So if you want to know that this stock is on its way to $8, $9, $10, right? You know you want to start seeing volume that is up here. You want to see some nice volume. You want thick, right? Green. And when I say 3 to 4 million shares, that's in a 5-minute candle. All right. I want this 3.5 to 4 million. All right. If we go back, right, you can see in the morning here, like the average morning share price or trading was like 1.2. Right. You had a lot here at lunchtime. You had some threes and stuff. But when you get something to squeeze, you'll notice that it's consistent. Right. It's consistent. There's not a big short interest. But if people get on this, it'll be something like this, like right here, right? Like that, right? Something that is consistent for like 2 hours where it's just 2.5 million, 3.5 million, 4, maybe you hit 4.5 to 5, and then the lowest it goes is 3 million, 3.2. Maybe you get like a low volume pullback, not even a pullback, but a low volume consolidation. And you get down to like 2, like 1.5 on the sell side, like, that. Listen, and understanding your Fibonacci and how to use them, right? There's a reason that you measure your moves. There's like so much that I'm like covering so much shit in this, but we'll talk about it. Come join us live Monday, and I'll dive more deep into it as far as like just understanding the price action. I will be trading safe. I will be trading safe this week. I promise, for sure. Biggest thing I could tell you until Monday to see if it gaps down, which, I think it may like gap down, but you'll see pre-market that they may try to buy this up. I don't know. Let's just see. And we don't know if news, you got to watch too, because you got to watch for news. There could be news that, like, if there's news that JetBlue anytime, right, that could start this thing off, would be JetBlue has filed for a grievance against the DOJ. Not like a grievance against them, but they have filed to take this back to court that they want to buy Spirit out. Because right now, you could get JetBlue. They're just like, look, because now JetBlue is in the driver's seat. They're only valued at about 700 million, just under 700 million. And they were willing to buy them for it was around like 2 billion, I think, right? They were going to pay double the price. Now they're in the driver's seat. They don't have to spend that money now. The DOJ said nope. So now JetBlue is in the driver's seat. So it's like we got to pay attention to the news too. That's also going to be a big factor. All right, that's going to be a big factor. So that's safe. Again, we're going to see what the volume is, see where it opens up, and we're looking for 850. Now, do we get through it, or do we just get to it and then it sells off? That's the bigger question. So that's that. Another stock though that that I personally think, if it ever has like good news and you start to get some institutions nervous, this thing is heavily shorted. Okay, this thing is heavily shorted. This is the most beautiful setup if I have ever seen one, and we seen it Friday go off of that level. Now I thought it was earnings. All right, I don't know why. I thought that I heard it. You can see here this red box is the 50-day moving average. We broke through it, okay? And I said, here's your 100-day as well. The blue is the 100, the red is the 50-day. I said I wanted to pull back to it. I wanted to like try and hold like this level right here at 56. And I'm like, okay, 56 doesn't hold, then we have the 100 to 50-day. You seen Friday, it pulled back to the 50-day and held the 50-day and got above the 100. But look at the volume. All right, look at the volume. Now, what happened was after hours is when it really like went back over the 100 and held it. And you got some nice volume there at the end of the day. That is nice, right? But I would have shorted that if I would have known that it wasn't. Because Wayfair has the most beautiful setup. Look at this. Look at this level on the daily chart. It may have to take you to a weekly. But look, there it is. I was wondering what was going on. Look at that. Okay, so what you have here is this previous resistance, right? Resistance gets under it, turns it into support. Support goes up, comes all the way back down, support rallies off of it, and then you just have news that takes it down. Obviously, probably earnings. And then you get through it, and then here, what do we have here this whole time? So you have support, resistance, support, support. Now look, resistance, resistance, resistance. I was looking to take weight. I think Wayfair was like, do not quote me up. I could be wrong. I think it was somewhere close to 20% short. Okay. You have this previous resistance level right here at 57, the high 56s, where I'm like, if this thing can hold, and it did, it held 56, right? Look at the level of 56. Look how this lines up beautifully, right? Look at that level right here, right at the close, right on that pivot low. At the properties, let's go to 2, right? Look at that. Boom, boom, right? This is a double bottom, kinda. And it broke that level, right? Turned it into resistance, and it gaps above it. So it came right back into that range. So this whole range, right? This whole range right here. It's this level right here. It's this range, that whole level. If this thing can hold and start trying to get some volume, I don't think it will, but you have the 200 day. You have the 50 day right here. Look, you just had a golden cross, but we don't have the volume with it. It pulled back to the 50 day on the daily and held the 50 and 200 day moving average. That's a bullish sign. It hit it and it got away from it. That's what we want to see. If Wayfair gets above 57, guys, and we pull back and hold 57, I will be long Wayfair, and I'm going to take this, attempt to take it to 70. Like, I would like to take it to these highs, but you have a very nice, it's a little big, so we held the 50 day. We hold this level of 56. But 57 is the level, right? This previous pivot high right here, this whole 57 area. If we can get up there and hold that, which we held the 100, so we could see a bounce Monday, Tuesday. I want to start getting into this gap and start making progress. Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday it pulls back like this into the 20-day moving average. Like, you come in with a little bounce, it pulls back, and this here is like right here. And that brings in the support for a day like that. We could like just take this thing up here. All right. And you get maybe a gap up extension, and everybody's talking about it. It brings in volume, and we get up to that level. That's something I would like to say. I doubt that it'll happen because now you have Spirit. Like, there's other news. So I think Wayfair is probably a short, if you want to know what I think. Right? Would I like to see it go up higher? I would, because I think if this thing were able to get some type of traction, there's a look at this rally. Like, look at this. This is what, like, look at that. You're talking about $29, $25, yeah, 36 to 80 in a month and a half. It's a pretty big gain. That's a pretty big gain. Options are cheap when a stock is $30 too, and you can buy quite a few of them. But it's like Spirits. It's happening now, so. And no, I appreciate that, Super. No problem, man. If you could, man, hit the like button just to be able to help someone else find the channel that would like to be here and ask questions and stuff and join us. So that's that. So that was Wayfair. It had news. There was some nice volatility with that. We talked about that. And we do trade live right here on this channel Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. Come on, maybe 7 o'clock. And we talk about the news. We talk about, all right, what's going to be our best place to be in the market. We're very good at putting ourselves in the right place at the right time in the markets. JP Morgan trade, like, we've been doing really good. Ever since I started this channel, we have been putting ourselves in the right place at the right times in the markets. Early on Bitcoin, it's just, members know. So we come up with our game plan. We go through the news. What's the most important news? Because the thing is with trading is I think a lot of people struggle with they have a list of 10 stocks, or they don't have a list, and they're just scrolling from Apple to Tesla to AMD to Nvidia to Microsoft to Google, and then they go back to Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Google, and then they go to like, oh, GME's popping, or like, this and that. So like you're not watching and able to, because I'm human. I do it. I've done it myself, and I will do it again in the future, where I'll have too many that I'm focused on, and I will miss, or I won't be fully committed to the concentration part on being able to read what the chart's telling me, because you're going to be just taking in so much, and you're just looking like, oh, I just want to see it pull into support. Well, it may not get to that support, but there's a few other things that you're not seeing that's telling you should be buying or selling at that moment, or you just miss it because you're looking at too many things. So dwindling your list down to like 3 or 4. Try 3 or 4 and see what you make happen, and make sure that there's, I can't say make sure, because I can't tell you what to do, but I would suggest, what I do is I make sure that there is either a fundamental catalyst with news, whether it's a new product, earnings, or a technical setup, or even better, both. I have a technical setup with earnings or with the catalyst that solidifies this thing is going higher or lower, and that volume's showing up. So, that's what I like to focus on. We go through the days, we go through the news, we get our game plan ready. So let's keep it moving. There's still a lot that I want to do, and I think I've been on here. I didn't want it to be this long. I don't care how long it is, but we can always go through more charts Sunday night in case there's news. We'll cover the news Sunday night. I don't know where is it out. I haven't seen. Oh, down. That's right. It's down here live. 1 hour 35 already. Shit. All right, let's knock this out. There's more, guys. So we went through Ford. That looks like a really good low volatility setup again. Capital preservation is number one, but when you don't have that much liquidity, you don't have that much money, your number one job is to get some wins under your belt. Take that flipping profit. Just keep taking it. I don't care how small it is. I don't care how big it is or how small. If it's big, you need to be taking that money and building your account and your net worth, right? If you want to make some real moves, you got to get that money first. Like, you got to obviously protect capital. But if you're only trading with a few $1,000s, like, please, if you're not finding success in the markets, stop worrying about Tesla all the time. It's okay to trade it, but there's times when you should trade it and times when you shouldn't, right? And if you have an account like that, like, you don't be using, if you're using 50, 20, 40% of your account, the volatility of that account, right, it's not going to match up with getting that equity curve up, all right? The volatility of what you're doing to your net worth or your portfolio, you're only going to take a few hits and you're done. You're just never going to make progress. And I want to see you guys make progress, because you can. It is possible. And you got to be taught and understand the math. Because once you understand the math, you're like, oh shit, this is why I have been failing. This is why. This is why I'm not seeing the progress that I could be seeing. We could say we don't stay in trades long enough, or we cut it too short. No. It's because we're trading too volatile of stocks, too expensive of stocks, that we can't stay in them, and that 2-3 times we get stopped out, we're done. Like, that's it. You can't. If that's the case, think about the shares that you are trading. All right, I would suggest, maybe trying to stay away from Tesla until it shows you that it's earned your right to trade it. All right, don't let the market trade you. You trade the market. The market doesn't trade you. That's what we say here. Don't let the market trade you. You wait. You let it show you what it's doing. Stocks have been going to all-time highs. Everybody's been talking about a pullback. I get it. We have gaps below us on the SPY. Stocks are overdone, or they are just they're at an expensive price. Okay, I agree. I completely agree. But if it's going up, you go up with it. What happened? What did I say Friday? What did I say a week ago? I came out with a video and I showed you guys. I said, what do you guys see here? All right, I pulled up Microsoft. All right, I pulled up Microsoft. It was right around like this day. We're like, yeah, this is nuts, right? This is nuts, right? I'm like, what would you guys do? Why is this doing this? Yeah, I could see what you mean by my screen was frozen or something, but like, because it's like now my charts are acting weird. Like, so I'm like, what would you guys do? You know, what would you do here? I'm like, stop fighting the trend, and look what happened. I'm like, because you think it's done, it's gonna go higher. Trust me, trust me. Thursday and Friday, the son of a bitch went higher. Well, I talked about that this week. This week I brought that up. I'm like, guys, like, listen, I get it. Like, instead of trying to be cute and just trying to catch these little reversals, on those reversals, just take a long, right? Because chances are it's going to go back up here where the sellers are if it's going to sell off. It's going to let you know, or let institutions know, it's going to let you know that, all right, it's done going higher. It's done. It's done going higher. It'll let you know. And when that day comes, because you guys got to remember, there's so much money that's been on the sidelines, and we've already made so much progress, but there is still already so much money on the sidelines that money, it is not physically possible for a computer to just consistently all day long, not just one place, right? Not just one Goldman Sachs, not one JP Morgan, right? It's the JP Morgans, the Goldman Sachs, all the family businesses you don't know about, UBS, right? All these banks that have trillions of dollars, and they want to allocate, they want to buy 300, 400,000 shares each, okay? It takes days for these positions to get put on, right? So when we see things just going straight up, like AMD, like they were arguing with me on Twitter, like, I'm not saying that AMD is expensive. It is expensive. It's probably well overdone, and you'll probably find out with earnings that it may pull back. Earnings might be the reason why. Maybe it's not this earnings. What if it's next quarter or the quarter after that, when these stocks start to come down, when things slow down? Look at that volume. All right, you know who that is? That's Goldman Sachs. That's JP Morgan. That's UBS. Right now, if you take the long, they're paying you. Go get your money. Go get it. You get these pullbacks, I don't give a shit if this thing's at $200. Until it shows you that the sellers are here, right? That you just pull back and you just hit it, right? And then you just pull back and you get right above it, and then it just quickly reverses and you go back. It's going to show you that it's done. I'm telling you, right? Until you see something like that, we're going long, and we're going to keep PEs and, price to earnings and book value. We're just going to throw that shit in the trash, because we know AMD is we know that this ain't worth it. All right. But someone is still going to, their institutions are okay with paying a premium because they know something. They're not worried about now. They're worried about 5 years, 10 years from now. And I could still argue that 5-10 year return is even worse at this price. But we don't fight the trend. If we want to get paid, we go long. And I only bring this up because I talked about it like Tuesday it was. And I literally was, that's what I did. I said, here's Microsoft. What are you going to do? What would you do this week with Microsoft? And I was quiet. And I'm like, guys, I was like, I'm going to go long. I never went long, but I've said if I was to trade this, I am going long on the pullbacks. And the fact that it doesn't feel right is even better. Yes, it's overdone, but I got volume. Like, it is showing me that the sellers have not showed up in enough, like the seats have not filled up enough to stop the riot from happening, right? There's not enough cops on the battle line to stop this million man march from coming through. Yeah, there's a few there, but they ain't doing shit because they're just outnumbered. So think about it like that. That it's sometimes you got to take trading and try to use some stuff, like take what you feel to the side. And what this was on Twitter was this lady posted relating to 2000s, okay? When you see people relating to 2000s, and this was the point, okay, is trying to relate the 2000s to now, guys. You have Nvidia, AMD, right? These companies that actually not only are cash flow positive, but they make money. The difference between these companies now and the companies before weren't even proven yet. And what do I mean by that? I mean, Nvidia, all right, is not only one of the biggest companies in the world, but they're cash flow positive. They have a proven product. But AOL, Yahoo, all these other companies, guys, they were trading at 260, like 125 to almost 300 times earnings, and they had no cash. They literally like had no earnings. They weren't bringing in any money. There were no cash flow positive this or that. That was all on that was speculation. That was the wheel. This time, you've already been proven by orders and the things that are changing here that the companies are already making money. There is just a huge difference from 2000 to now. There's just a big difference. 2000s was we expect these companies to do that. These companies are already well set and well managed at that. You got to think about who was running the company, right? Versus who's running the company now. And these companies have already proven themselves. So, yeah, I do too, man. I do all. And welcome, Super. It's awesome to have you here, man. Yeah, I do options too. I try to stress to um, like you'll see like if you join us this week, you know, I know per dollar within like I could do it to a half hour, an hour, 2 hours, 6 hours. What am I going to make at this price target? What am I going to be losing? Right? We make it really easy. A lot of people buy options and they have no idea when this thing pulls back a dollar that they're either going to be down 60% on a weekly or like they don't know. Okay? They buy options, they don't know what they're going to make and what they're going to lose. They just buy it and they just they're just happy with whatever it gives them, right? And I think that goes down to like it's not their fault because they haven't been taught how to read Greeks and implement the Greeks like in an easy way, not just saying, okay, I'm paying $1.50, or I'm paying $1. The stock's at $3. I'm paying $1. I need the stock to get to 5. Well, I need the stock to get to 4 for break even. That doesn't tell you how much you're going to make or lose. I want to know what I'm going to make. I want to have an idea of what I'm going to make in every dollar, 50 cents, or every $2, right? Really every dollar. What am I going to make every dollar, right? If within the next hour to 2 hours, if I'm in a weekly or a daily, I'll know in accordance to how the stock moves. But, I think there's a lot that people don't know because they either can't afford or have gotten yet who people say that they're here to educate but don't educate because they themselves that don't know, they just like the markets and they just want to be successful, and I want it for them. I love the markets too, but teaching people, right, a simple things, they're really not tricky. You just haven't so Super, try this, right? I'm gonna let you in on something. I'll let everybody else know. You guys want to know one easy thing you guys can do? What do we have here? AMD. Let's pull up a weekly. All right, what is this? January 26th. The easiest thing I can tell you guys to do, let's say if we bought a 475 call, right? Here's a 475 call for Friday. You can expect 56 cents on that option per every dollar. That's as easy as you can make it. And that right there will also go such a far way. Because you're obviously going to be able to tell, okay, it's going to increase or decrease on how it moves. But if I know, if I'm going to buy this at $400, right, roughly, or 385, 390, I'm going to make or lose 56 cents of that option every dollar up or down. It goes down, I'm losing $56. It goes up, I'm losing $56. That right there is the first and easiest way that I could tell you guys that it would help you. Where you're going to know, all right, because you guys need to do this. Like I talk about this all the time. People ask me, how much do I trade? How much do I make? How much do I lose? And I'm like, yo, come on, guys. Right? Like, that's not what we do here. And they know that now. Right? Where are my notes at? Like, I give this example a lot where it's the easiest thing. All right? It's the easiest. What happened? I don't know what happened to it. What the fuck? So, if I buy 100 shares of UNH, I'll have to type it out. Let me see if I have it here somewhere. I don't know how it didn't save it. I thought I had it up. Let me, because it closed. So there's just so much about trading that like I can't do in one sitting. Like, you know, let me see if I could do this. It won't let me do it. Shit. I don't know. Let's see. What? No, alright. I'm not doing all this. This is, alright. I'll have to write it up. But there's a lot, right? There's a lot that we do here. And take that for what I just told you, right? Start looking at your delta. Alright? If your delta is $1, alright, so you know every dollar it goes up or every dollar it goes down, you're either going to make $1 or you're going to lose $1. Alright? It's the easiest way. You're buying it Monday and it's moving, chances are by 11:30, 12, it went from 50 cents you're making or losing, depending on the direction. Okay, it probably goes from 50 cents to 43, like 43, 44 cents. But you'll be able to know if you're getting like, and the thing is you should be in something if you're day trading. In my opinion, I want to be something that's moving, right? I want to be in this, right? If we're doing this. Just use, like if it's square, if we're going like sideways or we're going down, right? Then we go right back up and then we go down. So if you look at the video of Tesla that I did, I think I put it out Thursday or Friday. You'll have to just click under the lives and it's on there. This live's been going on a little longer than I wanted it to. But you'll see there why I stopped out of Tesla for a loss, but not a loss. I stopped out of Tesla for a small gain because... No, it was a break even. No, it was a very small loss on Tesla. Yes, it was a small loss. And I fought for that loss. I fought for that small loss because of a few things that happened. We'll look at the 1 minute chart. Like right here, I thought and had a feeling that we were going to start consolidating. It was this day right here. And we nailed the entry. We nailed it. I was using both. We literally, and everything is live again. We literally right here, we were long and short, right? We were just waiting for Tesla to tell us what we wanted to do. We had a game plan, right? Our game plan was, we start walking. Are we going to pull in to the resistance zone from yesterday, or support? Support was made, but the resistance from yesterday or the prior day, which was right here. Right here, this whole area. We said 213. We want to look for this to hold, which is like a little cup. You can see the next day, it'll pull into it, bang, and it made it support after hours. But one thing I did not take notice to, which I could have done a better analysis, was, what do you see about 213 when I go over here? You can see here, right, after hours, like after hours, it told you that price level, they didn't give a shit about it, because what did it do? They just, dude, it sold off and it cut through 213. I didn't notice that when I took this trade, but I was patient and I was waiting. Where did we go? Right into 214, 213.65. Well, right here, literally right there is where we got short for a few different reasons. Initial morning low right here. We're like, yo, we want to walk this up. So far we hit 213, 214. All right, cool. We're holding it. Now, what do we want to see? We want to start seeing 215. We want to start seeing 215 start to hold. Right here, it tries to hold it. And what's that doing? We're walking this stock up. Perfect head and shoulders where? On a 1 minute? Right here. So you can see here. All right, look at this right here. Look at this. Jesus Christ. I don't know what's going on with it, but this right here, this is why I exited right there. Look at the size of those candles. It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock, 10:15. Look at the size of those candles. We went from this to that. All right. We went from that size candle to a candle size that was 50 cents long. I'm like, shit. right? So I think, and looking at the market wasn't really moving. So I kind of thought, I'm like, all right, so we're not really getting the continuation, because I want to start leaving this level. If Tesla is going to go back to 218, 216, 220, we want to sit at this level for a minute. This is a nice, this low volume right here did not bother me on a 1 minute. So I use this when you see us, like if you want to trade with us right here on this channel, this is what you'll see. I go back and forth to both the 1 minute, 3 or 5, 15 daily. But then I start seeing these candles get small. And again, I did a video on this and there's more to explain. I'm seeing the volume. Like, look at this volume. What do you see? Like, look, all the selling. There's more selling pressure than there is buying. This is the only buying you had. That was, you know what I mean? Other than that, the buying's down here at 4. So, taking all that into consideration, I'm like, all right, bet. Tell me what you're doing. You're going to hold this level or you're not. All right? So, it pulls back, and then it's just like it can't get up. And then right here, I took, on that extension right there, I took a just under loss on that, but I made it back up on JP Morgan. We slaughtered JP Morgan. Slaughtered it. We slaughtered the short on that. So, it's all good. And that's the thing, right? First week of the year, green as hell. Second week, just under flat, break even, right? Because of the choices I made on that week. And then last week, green, right? It's just, you'll see, if you want to come join us and stuff. But Monday, look at this, to a T, man, to a freaking T. And I could have shorted this. I was like 213. 213, right where this red box is that I have. This was the area I was watching, and to a T, she rejected. We had a member that was long trying to go to 220. I'm like, yo, like if you're long from off the bell, please, like 213. That's gonna be your mark. 213's your mark, right? That was pre-market. Right when we opened up, it sold off from that area. And that was that pivot high. But there was more to the left of us that told me like 213's the area. So I don't need Bookmap. That's so funny you asked that. I don't use Bookmap because I don't need to, right? Like if I'm trading something, like I don't need to know when a stock like goes up, right? Let's just say, let me try to give you an example. Like I don't know why people use Bookmap. I really don't, because if I'm sitting here watching Tesla, right, and I start to see this, like if I'm watching something, right, it's really the same picture as, like if I'm watching something, like I can know while I'm watching it, even if I'm not watching it, how much buying or selling is in something. Look at that right there, right? This is Bookmap in a nutshell. You see this 1 minute candle right here? And then we have this volume. All right, I'm watching this. This closes green, but I don't need Bookmap to tell me that all this is selling, right? This green candle here, I can guarantee you, like this much of it, if not half, over half of it is selling. Like I just don't need it. I don't need Bookmap. I don't need to tell me like, hey, there's a big order sitting here. I have time and sales. I have time and sales, which will be right here. On the right where you can't see it, but right here, time and sales, and then my level 2 right here, and then level 2 for my options. If it works for people, that's great. That gives people points. But for me, I don't need like a chart to tell me that there's a big seller or a big buyer. I'm already going to know it, right? I'm already going to know it, and to me it would be a distraction. Do you know what I'm saying? Because at the same time, a lot of times less is more, because when people start trying to throw all kinds of stuff at once and they don't even know how to use their indicators and they're using, they're just trying to do well. And I get it. They see other people doing things. It's like, I don't like, what's the trend? The trend's up. Okay, cool. All right. What's the stock first, right? Are we talking like a Microsoft? Or are we talking like a Roblox, right? You know what I mean? So one of them's going to be a leader, and one of them's going to be a laggard. All right. Tesla is Tesla. Tesla does what it wants, right? So if we have a trend, I identify the trend or the news. I can just, I'll know where the big orders are and where they won't be. You know what I mean? So I don't really need it. And I trade the SPY pretty. I haven't traded it in a while, to be honest. But I would come on here and trade the SPY every day and just, we would throw targets up just to like say this is where I think we're going. Like, and I don't like doing that. And I tell people all the time, like when we do that to have fun, that like do not depend on this, because when you start thinking that like you're good enough to know, you're kind of saying, okay, I know that there's not going to be news right now that a nuke didn't just hit Ukraine or Poland, right? Because there could be news hitting the tape at any second that could revert it. We can see support and levels and the trend and use support and resistance in that trend, and we can identify where we're going. Like last week, or it was 2 weeks ago, I was like, look, Monday this week, I'll do it tomorrow too. We'll go over more charts and stuff. We'll stick to charts. But I'm like, Monday I want to see us, have a nice day. I think we could move Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, we kind of just consolidate. We don't really have any economic news unless something changes. But then I'm going to look for Thursday and or Friday for that next, move. And that's exactly what happened in the SPY. All right, that's exactly what happened. It wasn't this past week. This week, last Sunday, if you go to the video, I said I wasn't expecting much from the indexes because there wasn't news. We've made a big run, and I feel like we were just consolidating. But that wasn't the case. We rallied, right? It was a small day, kind of. It was a 4-day break. Like, there wasn't really much of a reason. I almost traded this. This was an easy long on Friday. I was so exhausted, though, and I didn't do it. Sorry, I see your comment, and I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I have been watching training videos on Bookmap all weekend. It's actually pretty awesome for futures market. So there's a lot of detailed time and orders and added or pulled. Yeah, so here, I mean, if it works for you, that's good, right? That's awesome. If it works for you. See, like, if I, like, I'm going to know, like, if something's there or not, like, I'm going to know, like somebody pulling their order or not, I already know they are. So I like a lot of times, like even the past couple weeks, right? I've been working with people to like practice limit orders, okay? Because as you start to like take in days, right? This is how you become a good trader, and I don't think people do it enough. All right, let's say if you want to trade like end phase or something, like okay, make your money. You've made your money, right? If it's like Thursday or Friday or something, you have a stock you want, you're trading. Take a day or two, at least once a week. Take a day where you're like, I'm going to practice this. I'm going to practice that. Whether it's like entries, right? And then taking an exit off at certain points, right? Be like, look, I'm going to get long here. This is my stop. I'm going to stop out if it does this. Like practicing. Practice limit orders, right? If you're trading options, practice limit orders with options and see if you can't try to like, see if you can start practicing to get like really close on your entries and then your exits, right? Start moving your exits up and down and knowing what the prices are. You guys will see me do that, and you're going to see why I don't need to know what orders are getting pulled, because I'm probably going to be pulling them already too, right? JP Morgan, I was pulling that order like 4 or 5 times and taking these because I knew, I'm like, yo, I wanted 77 cents. And then it ended up going to like 81 or something, but like 77, I'm like, yo, I know we can get there. So I'm throwing in orders at 66 cents to sell and 71, and I go to 77. And I'm like, I'm just leaving it at 77 now because I still think, that it pulls back. Like it's going to go higher, but that pullback, I think we're going to get 77. And just understanding time and sales, really just level 2, and knowing where the support zones are, like you're already going to know that if the direction is in a trend and you get that pullback, chances are the buyers know that we're going higher, so their limit orders are going to get moved up higher because they know that that level is support, and they're going to get it higher because they're just pretty confident that where that pullback is, that it's going to hold and they can get this instead of this. Right, so that's why I'm like, I'm already going to be pulling orders. I don't do it to fake out or anything. It's like we get a trend like with some volume. Like if I bring up JP Morgan, like I took my profits on this, but like my last order, it was for, I want to say 50%, if not more, on this. I sold the rest of this. I can't remember if it was like 50 or 75%. I want to say it might be like 50 or 30. It might be 30 because I know I'm more conservative than anything else. So we caught this. All right, we caught this whole. Literally, the entry was perfect. All right, we caught that, and I actually was a little late getting in on that order. I almost missed this trade. I almost missed it. So this gray box, we've been watching JP Morgan. We've been long, we've been short, but we were like, we get back to 169, 170. Let's look for that short. We put this short on. Let's see if we can let it go for a few days, right? We'll get some time on it. Let it go for a few days and let it pay us. It did it in lunchtime. It did the whole damn move at lunchtime. Like this is I would call this like a minor slash major. It's starting. It feels like it's starting. 166 is starting to become like a major level now. All right, because it's holding. If I go to an hourly chart, I can show you that. You'll see what I mean. That like this level just isn't breaking. So now I'm changing this level, and look what it did. It actually rallied right back to 170.50. So we'll see here soon if we get another shot. So this level here, 165. These dotted lines are the areas I'm taking my profits, and I was hoping that we could get to the 50-day. So if we get through 168, right? Taking a piece off, depending on where I'm at. If I'm getting in here, which we did, I didn't take it off until like this pivot low. I told members we would probably come in with a gap down. Doesn't mean we will. I would expect that either you're going to get a little gap up and then a continuation, or a gap down and then it goes higher. But anyway, this 165, I wasn't like 166. I mean, there's a gap here. So I wasn't making this like a major level, but now it's starting to solidify that it's a kind of a major level. And, this level here at 168. So this might be a long next week. This could be a nice low volatility stock to make money where it's not like, you buy 5-10 contracts and you're losing $150 every second. You're down, you're up, you're down, you're up. You can buy 10 contracts of this and like kind of sit in the trade given that you have time, because now this resistance level it's back above it. Like this is where I wanted to short. So, I mean, at the end of the day though, this is really, when I look at a chart at the end of the day, that's where my sellers are at the end of the day, right? That's where the sellers really are. So, we break through that, then I'm like, okay, we broke through it. Now I can look, those sellers are probably now buyers. Just on how the psychology works. But I don't mean to keep going on and on, but like, so right here, right, on this, I know I was using a 1 minute. I was using both. I was using 1 minute, 3 minute, 15 minute. But I was late getting in this trade, and I got the bounce back. I gave this out literally at this peak. As it's going up at this peak, I'm like, oh shit, guys. JP Morgan, like, because I forgot about it. I was trading Tesla and something else, and I forgot about it. But I was able to catch the bounce back, right? And I got in at the bounce back, literally right there, right? Because it started selling off, and I'm like, shit. I'm I'm like, all right, what contracts do I want to be in? I should have had the work done prior, you know what I mean? But I didn't. I didn't do the work prior, and that's a learning lesson there. Like, hey, if I'm talking about getting long at 169, 170, what options do I even want to look at? I didn't even think to like have that up, because I didn't think that I would be rushed to get in this trade too, though, right? So I knew that I wanted at least a week to 2 weeks, and I wanted to be in, I wanted to be in the liquid, a liquid part of the chain, because I want to be able to get out, right? I want to be able to get out. It's easy to get in, but can you get out? And all of it at that, right? Can you get out the whole position? So I got in right here, and literally, dude, by the end of lunchtime, we already like we're done. We're out. It's already at this level. And then the day after actually proved to me that I wasn't upset with myself, that I took this profit off because it hit this level and it held. It came in with a bit, it came in and sold off, but it hit this level and bounced. But anyway, so this whole time, as you see how we're getting continuation here, well, I had options. Limit ordered out, because I market ordered in, which was a bad idea, but I wanted in. It is what it is. I'm sacrificing price because I went in now. All right. So I'm going to either sacrifice getting in or sacrifice not getting in because of the price. I either want this price or I don't want it and it moves without me, or I pay up a little bit because I know or I think that it's moving, and it paid off. It cuts into those profits, but this was a beautiful trade. We took this. You had an opportunity to get in the 60s. I market ordered and they filled me at like 71, like the low 70s, but you could have got a low 60s because even if you market ordered in when I said it, I think there was still, like, it just took me a minute to get in, and but I was on the way out though. My point being is I was on the way out, and you see how this is continuing? Like, you see that, and then it just hits the 9 EMA, goes down, and right here it's just like boop, boop, right? I'm like, okay, well, if I'm looking at these options, and like, let's just say the short side is at 165.70 at 21 cents a dollar, and it's going to go up like on a penny every 25 cents or whatever, every 10 cents. Every 10 cents, this delta goes up a penny from 21 to 22 to 23 to 24 to 25 every 10 cents. Even just taking that out, if this is at 21 cents and we're at what price? 167.50. And when we get to 166.50, how about that? I know I'm going to go from 43 cents to probably 75 to 80, right? Because I'm going to be in the money, or damn near close to being in the money. Now, it's not going to be, 21 cents it's 21 cents every dollar. But if we go from 170 to 166, right? That's 40 cents, right? Those contracts just went 100%. So if I'm getting $1.50, like $1.75 in a decent time, because it's also going to factor in the time, and that's what, you know what I mean? Until you buy like this here, something that's in the money, until you're in the money, just remember, when you're in the money, it's pretty much dollar for dollar, right? When you're in the money, it's dollar for dollar. If you're not, and you're like, now it's not going to be as much from the 170 to the 165. The 170s aren't going to go up as fast as the 167.50 is going to go up if it moves in that direction and continues in that direction. And you are getting 46 cents, but as soon as you get in the money, like, let's say if you're at 172, right? Or no, 171. It's at 171 and you go into the 170 puts, that 46 cents might go to, depending on if it takes like an hour or two, it'll probably go to, you might get 100%, but depending on how fast that goes, then that means these went 150, 135, 140. So it all depends on, like, I know roughly, like, depending on how the stock's moving, I know about where those options were, and I was taking orders in and out. I didn't mean to drag this on because that's what this was about like was about Bookmap, and it was so funny that you asked that, bro. I was literally thinking about Bookmap literally this weekend, and just like how, like, people use it because it's so crazy that you brought this up. I'm like, people are using it because they, like, aren't understanding that if they're trading in a manner where they're limit ordering in, and you'll see it, right? This week, whenever, the next week, depending on what goes on, I'm going to be putting on orders, limit orders and stuff, and you'll see me move them, and I'm going to say it, like, on the mic, and I'll have my camera on. I just don't have the camera on right now because it was freezing on me, and I didn't want to fool with it, but you'll see, and in doing that, and in understanding my mindset and stock doing it, I know others are doing it as well. I took my first profits off here, and I think it might have been 88 cents. I'll have to look in my in my broker. I could be complete. I got in at 70 some cents. It might have been like 98 cents. I don't know where I got it. It might have been $1. Shit. I don't know what I put them at. It was a beautiful trade though. It was beautiful. And I left a little bit on the table because I was done moving the order. I was like, I just let it get into it. It went into it. It picked up my options. It picked up my shares. And then it continued a little bit further, right? So it's just hard for me to explain, like the understanding of like, okay, I'm in at 40 cents. And the way that we're moving, I'm like, I know we're going to get like 55 cents. Anything past 50 cents, we get past 55 cents on these options, you're going to really start to see a continuation in the stock because we got past that level. And that should be about where they are. Maybe it goes to like 58 and then it pulls back, maybe 56. So, I can understand how it helps people. It absolutely does. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is like, it would take time away from me, like, worrying about like, if we were to pull back on JP Morgan on a 1 minute, right? Let's say if this candle, you see how it wicked down? What if I wasn't watching and this thing like just went, it pulled back in and then wham, right off of that level, it just went. That's a sign I want to start taking profit. Like, I don't need Bookmap to tell me there's a wall of buyers there that we might have trouble coming off of this level. As a trader, been doing this for 10 years, I know that when I see a level, right, even if it's a minor level, like JP Morgan, I thought 166 or whatever, like this level, I was discounting the amount of buyers that are still here at this level. I was taking this as like, this is a gap fill, maybe we'll hit it, we'll bounce, we'll come back into it. But look what it did, right? This is a sign that I want you to always remember. Look what it told you a couple days ago. Just look at this. Look at everything about this chart. And there's more to this chart that people don't know. Like retail side, people aren't taking in. And I didn't take it in. All right. And I've been doing this for a while. Look what it did. It went into this level on earnings, right? And what did it do? It immediately left that level, right? Not just leaving it. It didn't just bounce. It straight up left, said, peace, I'm out, right? And then what happens? We come into it again, right? Look at that candle off the open. It pulls in and it leaves, right? It pulls in, it leaves. Okay, that's a sign. What's it do? It leaves. All right, and it's not just that it's like leaving, right? Like this would be like a bounce, like, oh, it hits it and then it rolls back over. Okay, but what did it do? It left. So now I know 166. So when you're trading and you see something, right, you're going to have like, you want to have like your obvious support and resistance, right? But make sure those support and resistance, like make sure you have your two major ones, right? And then you're going to have your little minor ones intraday where like this little low, right? That's a minor level. Look what happened, right? That would be I'd have a dotted line there right here at this pivot low from yesterday. It's look at the volume. It's got low volume for an end of day. But if you look how it acted the next day, right? It's a minor level. We should expect a pullback. I would expect a pullback to this pivot right here. Right into there. Maybe into the belly of that, right? It doesn't do it. It just hits it and it just stays there, but it's wicking, right? See how it's not leaving that area? So yesterday, it bounced off of it. Today, it's acting as resistance, but can you see how this is not leaving it? See how it's not leaving the area or leaving it? It just stays there. That's a sign that that level is, one, it's not going to be resistance, but two, you might pull back. Maybe you pull back here and then it goes through it, right? It pulls back to bring in buyers. So when you're watching a stock, right, if you see a stock go to a level, right, one more example, look at Tesla. What did Tesla do Friday? God, why are my screens doing this? This is so weird. This is so weird. I got to save it. You see how it went up to it and then it left it. Bang. It just left it. Like, it didn't just hang out and pull back to here. It pulled back to here, but it did not give you a double top. It didn't even try again. It just said buy, I'm out. And that's the same time frame. I didn't change the time frame from JP Morgan to this. So when you go through, like, just start taking notice at levels, how it reacts off of the level or at it, right? If it gets to it, kind of just stays there. All right, cool. We're just chilling. It's probably going to break it. If the stock's pulling back and it goes down into a level, and then from that level it just bang, it hits it and it leaves. You're like, all right, bet that's where the buyers are. Chances are we're not going to break it, and if we do break it, it's going to take a while. So if we revisit that level, I'm gonna be right there waiting, and you know what? I might even put in an order right now because of the manner that it left. I'm going to be sitting there too to buy it. So I think a lot of traders don't think about that. Like, they see support and resistance, but they don't really pay attention to how the price action goes. You know what I mean? So it really helps even just knowing that. Like, if I were to watch this, which I wasn't at the time, if I don't, like, I don't know. I do know there's a decent amount of buying, if not half buying there. But how fast did it leave 207.50? Right? Did it take like 30 seconds? Did it take like 10 seconds? What did it, like, wick down into it and then boom? Like, cuz you've seen it. Like, if you've watched futures and charts, you've seen times where it'll go to a level and then just rip right off of it. Like, just it gets to it and quickly moves away. That is a sign that sellers are there or buyers are there, and, like, it's a level to pay attention to. And it's also kind of giving you the direction, because if it's at lower days like Tesla and this level ain't breaking, chances are I got a long to the end of the day or next week. I got a few dollars on my hands, and look exactly what happened. It recovered. So, just knowing stuff like that, that's like, unless somebody tells you and shows you, you're not really gonna know, right? You may know it, like, you're like, oh shit, yeah, like, that does make sense. It's common sense. How did I not think about that? You know what I mean? So it comes with time, but, like, if nobody told me about that, I wouldn't have looked for it, right? I was told that kind of stuff years ago, and if somebody didn't tell me that, I wouldn't think to say, hey, in what manner did it leave that level? Like, that would matter. All I need to know is that it left it. Well, yeah, but if it leaves it in a manner, like, hey, it's telling you something. If it's not going back to revisit it, it's saying bye. Like, it's leaving. Take the trend to the downside. What's the next one? Pretty much, where's the next decision going to be made at, right? Are we going to go to like, if we're going down on Tesla, is it going to be 205, 206, 207? Like, we know Tesla was at 213 for like a whole 1 minute and 30 seconds, and is now $2 it's at 210, $2 away from it, like 2 minutes later, and not retesting it. We know that big sellers are still there. So therefore, where are the buyers? Like, we've identified the sellers. Where's the buyers at? So we know we got a trend at least down to pre-market support, or this area. So I would be short to at least the low of day of pre-market, right? And it's funny because, again, the member was long and he's talking about 220. I'm like, dude, watch 213. Look at the box that I have here from the day prior, right? I'm like, watch that area, watch that zone. So my voice is dry, so I'm gonna call it a night. But we'll do a stream tomorrow night. We'll go over charts. I'll have some ideas. We'll go over charts. We went over a couple here. I think Ford looks good, guys, for like a small, just like, like having like your day trades, and then like your trades that you have, like, that are just kind of like your easy money. It's nothing's easy, but, like, maybe you have a, like, let's just say, maybe just as a number, right? I'm not going to say like 20 or 10, but for somebody that has like $1,000, right? I would, this would be like, let me go buy. It's Monday. They're like 20 cents a contract, 15 cents a contract. Let me go ahead and buy two. Let me go ahead and buy one or two contracts of Ford at like 10, 15 cents. Put the trade on. You got a week or 2 weeks. You kind of just keep an eye on it. set. You could even set, you know what I mean? Set an alert, set a stop loss, like, or a trailed stop, right? You could physically do it, and then like go back to like, okay, there's news on Square this morning, like, or Spirit Airlines, right? I'm gonna make my money on stocks like this, and then I'm still gonna go to Spirit Airlines, and that's where I'm gonna attempt to make some decent money too. But I feel like I do want to just put something on here at the 50 day because I think we could get to this 100 day. Everything about this chart tells me that this thing's got 10% in the stock alone. What does that do for the options? Do you know what I mean? So if it can do 10% in 2 days, if not a day or so, you know, that's going to be a nice payday. That'll be 15 cents in a dollar, or like, I'm not going to say a dollar, but you get a 20, 30 cent contract and you get 2, 3, 400, 500%. You could, right? I'm okay with 100%, 200%. I'm okay, honestly, I'm okay with 35, 40. I'm going to be honest with you. Those are my paydays when I get into trades and it gives me that direction and I'm taking pieces off. Like, those are my paydays. I've locked it in. I've reduced my risk. Now anything else is a stake, or, you know what I mean? It's just like, is anything else is extra? So I think we covered a lot in this live stream that could help people if they, rewatch this and are able to, stay around long enough. But that's that, man. Super Todd, it was awesome to meet you, bro. Hope you have a great one, a good night or whatever. And we'll be back on tomorrow night for charts. Strictly charts. That'll probably be the title. Strictly charts. Strictly charts and questions. I agree for you, spirit. Listen and not be for beginners. Fundamental marks like yes and thank you. Yeah, that's for yeah. I get it, man. Hey, if it works, it works, right? If it works, it works. You guys have a great night. Do me a solid. Just hit the like button. That way people like Super Talk can find the stream and would like to be here. You would allow us to do that. And again, we get to 1,000 subscribers. I don't have to say this anymore. So, yeah, man. You guys have a great night. I will see you guys tomorrow. I appreciate Todd. I'm telling you, man, it means a lot, bro. It does. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Maybe... We'll wait for futures to open up, maybe like 7:30, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right around then. Maybe a little bit earlier, depending on if there's news or not. So, see you guys then, man. You guys have a great night.